Mitram and Bandhvam, welcome to South Asia Maps, the education channel where I will bring you South Asia centric history, culture, geography related presentations to you. And I will also be posting other related unrelated topics such as human ecology and global heritage and geography and so on. This is the human ecology series in this playlist. You can see this particular icon means human ecology, and that is about human ecology, human predicament, that is the dilemma 8 billion humans face on the planet Earth, that is the impasse, the cul-de-sac, catch-22 position where it's difficult to retrieve the situation because we are 8 billion resource consumers today on the planet Earth, that is now in the post-exuberant era after 2080 in the bottleneck century. 21st century is the bottleneck century. Some of the concepts come from Dr. Cotton's work, that is the book Overshoot and other book Bottleneck. We are talking about very important concept I discussed before, detritus ecosystems, how they apply to organism. Detritus is a dead organic material or decaying organic material. If a plant is killed or chopped off, that is dead. After some times, all the other microorganisms, others come start eating it. That is a dead organic material. Even if an animal dies, that is a dead, decaying organic material. Detritus. If humans pass away and buried, they are also detritus. They are food for some other organisms, even though you may not see it. That is their detritus. When we say detritus in a broader sense, you can remember this one. Coal, oil, natural gas are detritus. Fossils, they are called. Once upon a time, there are big trees, microorganisms. They died, they are buried on the planet Earth. High pressures, temperatures processed them chemically, converted them into fossils. That is coal, oil, natural gas. In a sense, they are detritus modified. The implication is anything that is coming from this also coming from detritus. Let's say industrial agriculture, the urea, the phosphate, the combiner machines, harvester machines, pesticides, the herbicides, all are coming from the coal or oil or natural gas. They are also detritus. Organisms which are living on them are detritivores. Detritus eating, detritus consuming organism. You see the detritus here, the decaying organic material, and earthworm here is surviving on them living, that is a detritivore, and dung beetles are also detritivores, and so on. Detritus consuming organism. Vor means eater, survivor, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, detritivore. Sometimes it is spelled instead of I here, O here, detritovore or detritivore. So both are equally accepted, just to keep in mind. The important thing in detritus ecosystems is the bloom, expansion of the numbers of these consumers, detritivores. Eventually the resources deplete, they all die. Detritivores, I talked about this system in more detail in the previous. You can also look at part 7 there. Detritivore. Here I am comparing in the part 51 detritivores, how algae, how the yeast, how the humans, how the cars, which are also a sort of devices, not organisms, but you can visually think they are like the mobile devices, like even the cell phones and all the gizmos we use today is a device, detritivore device, like a car, tractors, combiners, harvester. Let's correlate all these things in a broader format and you will appreciate what we are talking today. There is a new world. plenty of resources. These organisms voyage into a new world, discover a new habitat. Plenty of resources, resource-laden new world. World means a generic term. Don't think instead of just a globe or something like that. Broadly used new world. These organisms, they bloom, they erupt. Blooming means ecologically eruption. The numbers grow. And they're an exuberant phase, very happy phase, jovial phase. Anthropomorphically thinking, if a human says they are the microscopic, if you talk about algae in the pond or yeast, if you talk about the humans, this is the macroscopic inhabitants, also detrivores. That is the what we are talking. These organisms responded to the new habitat, they bloomed, they accumulated their own extra metabolites, the products. These extra metabolites changed the habitat, the new world, polluted them and made the habitat not suitable for these organisms to grow anymore. We will correlate these things soon. That means the resources also exhausted for their survival. They crash. They decrease. Crash is nothing but the decrease in number of the organisms, so they all die off. The important point, detritivore life cycle for detritivores is the bloom and crash. Detritivore, bloom and crash. We have the 4 such organisms here. Algal pond. In the northern latitude, during the fall time, the leaves fall off, they're washed, put it in a pond. In the algae will not grow in the winter, in the December, January, February. In the spring, after the equinox, that is 21st sun will be on the equator. So spring equinox started, official spring season starts, temperatures start growing up, and in the algae start blooming. That means the low temperatures which restricted the algae now find in the fascinating new world. It's a new habitat, plenty of resources, no limitations. Cold temperature lifted because warming up. They bloom within couple of days. Entire algal pond, you will see after days is green in nature, and they all bloomed and they polluted the pond. There is no more resources. They will die off by the end of the summer. Again the cycle starts for the organisms, of course the algae the next year. We have for yeast we have the grapes. You crush them and the grape juice, sugar laden, put them in the barrel called casket or vat. Winemakers use it. That means when you introduce yeast into this, the new world, this is a new world. Algal pond is a new world. This grape juice containing vat barrel is a new world. This yeast to find a new world. They got very excited to see the new world. They proliferate. They exude alcohol. That's what the winemakers want. And once the alcohol quantity increases, this beautiful sugar-laden grape juice becomes polluted, and by the time they grow in billions, they all exhaust the resource, the carbohydrate, sugar, they all crash. That is, they bloom and crash, this exuberant organism. Why we have put humans here? Today, there are 8 billion humans by 2023-24. How to remember? Planet Earth is sphere, like a 0, put one more, that becomes 8 billion. So I put it, one sphere, other sphere, 8 billion here. 1500, there was only 500 million people, half a billion. Here Dr. Cotton refers to the discovery of the new world, the old world, Eurasia, the plenty of the people, old world, they discovered the new world. Latin America and North America, Australasia, they have around about 50 million square kilometers. Out of 150 million square kilometers, the land mass on the planet Earth, so tremendous. In a broader sense, so they discovered the new world, their numbers taken off, the steam engine discovery and the coal oil discovery, the population, the industrial agriculture started by humans. By 1818, their numbers were 1 billion. 1500, 500 million, half a billion. 1818, 1 billion. Very easy to remember. By 1919, there is a 2 billion, the World War I time. Nixon, when demitted office due to Watergate issue, 1974 4 billion, by 2025 8 billion. The tremendous increase, 8,000 BC, that is, there were only 8 million people. Now there are almost 8 billion people. Previously, they found new land, took it over from competitors, flora and fauna, called takeover. After steam engine, they started digging deep and deep. That is the detritus fossils. Their numbers grow tremendously due to industrial agriculture. They have changed the habitat. Now they destroyed whatever habitat, good habitat they have. Their numbers very soon has to come down. That is, they are the detrivores. Remember, humans, this oil fossils is one-time gift by the nature. Unlike the yeast and algae, this will not happen. So, but it is a broader cycle. Why I have brought this detritivore cars means, 1900 there are very few handful of cars used by royal families. Now there are 1400 million cars, 1500 million, 1.5 billion. Almost a family of 4.5 size will get a one car if you distribute uniformly. Just an automobile, a car. We are not talking about millions of other devices such as the two-wheelers, the trucks, the vans and tractors, combiners, which are also automobiles. That's a different story. Their number today, by 1900 to 2025, within 125 years, is 1.5 billion. Tremendous. And the rest of the cosmos, there are billions of these cell phones, laptops, computers. These are all the detritus products made from churning, processing the iron, coal, aluminum, oil. These are all detritivores and one-time material. That is the commonality. And if you put in the terms of once resource depleted, the numbers has to come down. Economical collapse also one region, but again a product of detrivore cycle. I have not put there in that 51 part. This is essentially what is called coroner's report. In the Western country, when a person dies, a non-medical professional makes a preliminary report on the death of a person. Where and when did a person die? What are the probable causes of the death? And what are the circumstances of the death? If there is a car accident, 2 people died, they are choked to death or due to burns, something like that, they will make a preliminary coroner's report. If the coroner's report is going to be made by somebody else for algae, that is a detritivore, and for yeast in the wine vat barrel, that is a detritivore, algae in the pond, humans on this planet Earth with a circumference of 40 kilometers, 40,000 kilometers from Singapore to Singapore and the equator, and for 1+ billion devices, the coroner will say all these organisms, they crashed due to self-inflicted pollution. They died too, habitat change. They died due to the nutrient depletion, resource depletion. Algae in the pond depleted the resource, yeast depleted the grape juice, the carbohydrates, humans depleted the fossils, that is on which industrial agriculture works, on which they live. The cars, the devices depleted these, the fossils, the oil on which they live. That what the coroner will make a report. You see, this entire detritus ecosystems, the fresh, the new old world and the new world, resource lead and the algal pond and the wine cascade, the planet Earth, the new world and the no cars here, all the coroners report said the same thing. They bloomed because of resources, new world, new habitat. They polluted, changed the habitat, and they exhausted the resources. All will crash, their numbers will come down. That's what essentially I was trying to bring to your attention as part of Ecology series. This is Dr. Cotton, in his monumental Overshoot book. He passed away around about 5 or 6 years back. Professor at Washington State University, Pullman, east of Cascade Mountains, northwest Pacific region of United States. These two books, and I discussed Detritus ecosystem in part 7, Homo colossus, Homo sapiens part 5. You can go and look at it. And here I have put all these 50 presentations. Actually, the current presentation I have not added in the thumbnail. You can say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. We talked about the 47 detrivores algae, 48 yeast, DetritiVore, 49 Homo colossus, 50 detritivore devices cars, 51 overview of all of them. You can go and look at the human ecology part. That is my main YouTube channel, South Asia Maps Reddy. You can go and look at that, and I will be put all these things in the human ecology playlist, and there are 30 playlists. You can find the interest of the topics you like: the Pakistan, Bengal region, Rayalaseema State district, partition, the railway history, Punjab, and varied, diverse, Madras presidency, central provinces, Bearer, and Nizam of Hyderabad. So many varied playlists you can look at it. There are nearly 260 meticulously made videos there. You can go and look at them and make your comment, and also can subscribe it if you like it. If you're listening me at shared chat site, Mitram and Bandhu, I really appreciate if you post your comments so that I will get a feedback from you, so that I can tailor the presentations to take your interest into consideration. That will be very greatly appreciated if you take few seconds and post certain comments and access the site. That's what I talked today about the detritivores, bloom and crash life cycles of algae, yeast, Homo colossus humans, and detritivore device cars. And see you later in other presentation. Dr. J. Reddy, your presenter at South Asia Maps, Intellectual Kshatriya's education channel that brings the abstract concepts of Indic related and other general topics to you in the iconographic form, so that the ideas will be very easily etched in your mind, and you can understand and appreciate the planet Earth. See you later.